because I recently just came out of my vision quest that literally I have no words to describe, because even words won't do it justice. But the level of power, transformation, and even upgrade that was experienced during this quest is out of this world, literally out of this world. And I came out just feeling so soulful, so humbled, so clear, even clearer on that the only path that is real is that of spirit. Anything else is just a distraction, an allure. And it's some of the things that I'm going to speak about in today's video, in today's energy update. But honestly, if you're listening to this, if you've been with me for a while, if maybe you're new to my channel, but you feel, you know that you're someone that is truly devoted to that real deep inner work, literally the work of God, the work of spirit, the work of the light, and you know yourself that you're here to anchor in the light and not the fluffy light, not the allure of the light, it's just something else I'm going to speak about today, but really you know that you're devoted to the realest, rawest energy, truly energetic truth in its rawest form. And you know that this path is not easy. It's literally not easy. It's truly for the warrior spirit, because it's about shedding, it's about going to the depth of hell, because you understand that we've been living in a paradigm of hell, in darkness. It's about going through those realms, destroying them, shedding them completely, and finding the courage and the strength and the power towards your own light, towards God, towards your own essence, your own purity. And honestly, if I were to just literally sum up this quest, this is what it is. It's this initiation for you that is a warrior of God, that it has that warrior spirit, that has that that you know you are here. Maybe you know or you don't know, but you literally are an ambassador of spirit. You are an ambassador of God in this fallen matrix, in this fallen world. That's why I would really love to see you there. So check out my website, and if you have any question about it, reach out to me. But otherwise, feel the pull. If any of those words, if any of that work, any of those transmissions that you have been feeling that resonance, literally know with all confidence, and I'm saying this, that this is a next level vision quest. So whatever paradigm you're in and all the amazing work you're doing right now, getting onto that quest is literally going to take you to that next layer that you know deep down you've been pulled towards, you're calling for, because you know deep down that there are those codes that you're wanting to unlock, embody, activate, bring in fully into yourself to take you to that next chapter of your life. This is literally a very crucial time we are in right now in this realm. It's literally a crucial time. Why? Because we can no longer dance between two worlds. And that is super important, because in the past, maybe we were able to procrastinate what we know deep down our spirit is calling us for. We know deep down what the path that we're supposed to adjust. Not that you're not on the path, we've been on the path, but there's this adjustment, this twist that we know, we've always known deep down. And that's okay, because everything is in its own timing. And that's why I'm saying now is a very crucial time, because we can no longer be in those two worlds. Why I'm saying we can no longer? Because the visibility of the distortion, the visibility of the illusion is super, super clear, that you would be, you know, deep down that you would be fooling yourself if you're still allowing to dance in those two worlds. You're still allowing to shrink your light. You're still allowing to play small. You're still allowing to say yes to specific realities and paradigms, and play and put yourself in those paradigms that you know are super outdated. But it's also a challenging time in a way. It's interesting because it's like clear. It's like there's this light, this crystal clear light. And that's the thing. That's why I'm saying the only path is the one of spirit, because spirit's path is crystal clear. It's transparent. It's like diamond clear. But it also comes with a force that actually a lot of people, when they're met with that, that's why I was saying warrior spirit, when they're met with that, they get frightened. Okay, they some may not have the tools, and that's okay, but there would be still the spirit. There would still be that energy that is inside that's like, I don't have the tools, but I know that I'm going to keep going. I got to figure it out. But a lot of people don't want to go there, and that's where they stay in that fluff. That's where they stay in that ceiling, that energetic ceiling. That's where they stay stuck in a specific loop, and they think that they're growing, but they're not really growing, because they are staying within that ceiling. They're staying in that same operation model, in that same paradigm, which is the allure, which is the fallen reality. And why? Because in that moment, they're not willing to face their fallen aspect, their fallen consciousness. That just being born into that world, we have been born and plugged into the fallen matrix, into the fallen consciousness grid, the allure, the illusion, the amnesia. And we are unwrapping ourselves from it. But it's layers, and it's literally stages of the path of the warrior. And a lot of people get distracted there. They get wrapped around, especially the ones on the spiritual path, that they're not ready, they don't have the courage to actually face their fallen consciousness, face those distortions and illusions that have been wrapped around them, that they know, okay, now it takes a lot of courage, and it takes that surrender to spirit, that full openness of giving ourselves to spirit, to great spirit and Holy Spirit fully. Our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our lives, all that we do is to be offered to spirit. We are to be fully plugged into the divine grid and nothing else. That's why at the end of this video, I'm going to do a prayer that I highly recommend to try to do every single day, maybe morning and night, and just witness the shift in your life. It's super powerful. Whereas you're standing here listening to this, and you're realizing that you have that courageous heart. You realize, you know, that you are literally seeing, witnessing, feeling the distortions. And you know that you have that courage and the humility to break, to collapse, to realize that actually it's nobody else's fault on the outside. In what sense? Is because you have allowed those distortions and illusions to take a hold on you. And you know that you also, with your power and strength, have the key. You are the master decoder, to completely decode your reality and say, no more. I'm unwrapping myself from that distortion, rather than just staying in that running away, that hiding. So this is where I'm going to lead to a second point that is super important with the energies we're navigating. And I know that I've been speaking about this for a while now, but literally the infiltration. And that is why there's a lot of false light. Now the thing is that it's not our job to expose the false light. It's spirit's job to expose the false light. And that's where it gets tricky, because you may notice yourself that you see things and you just want to expose it for what it is, right? Through the truth. But it's not your job to confront it in that way. Your job is to see it, bring the light of awareness out. Be the voice of truth to the people around you, but not to expose it, because all is in its timing. That's when you allow Spirit's work, Spirit to move through and do what it needs to do. But that is where you're noticing that the false light, a lot of BS, and I always target the spiritual BS because this is insane. Remember that Satan, the god of this realm, which is the false god, which is the creator of the matrix, the architect of the matrix, is literally is a coder. Okay, so imagine it's the god of this realm, the architect of this realm. So you think it doesn't have the power to mimic? It doesn't have the power to pretend that it's an angel, to pretend that it's a light. That is the false light. And I know that you're listening to this and you're like, oh, yes, I'm seeing it. And maybe you've been thinking that you're the crazy one all along. But now this is shifting, because this is where you allow Spirit to come through and you trust yourself. You no longer doubt, because this is what the infiltration want you to do. It wants you to doubt yourself so that you give your power, you leak your power, and then you're going into that, illusion, into that distortion. You're falling back and you're leaking your energy, you're leaking your clarity. And instead, whenever there's a bit of confusion, and when I'm talking about these things, you might notice those false lights in the show, in some teachers out there, spiritual teachers, spiritual speakers in the political scene, like let's go into the matrix reality. But also it could be through your own life, in specific relationship, in specific things in your life where you ask, you command for the truth. You command Spirit to reveal the truth. And you're going to notice that the Spirit, that the energy of mimicking, which is literally the trickster, the energy of faking the light, has been there all along. But you get used, overused by your sensitivity and your compassionate heart, that it blurs you. Because this is also what it has the power to do, is that it knows your heart, right? So it's going to play on two angles. It's going to play on the interrelational angle and dimension, which is with yourself, where it's going to get you to choose everything else but yourself. And that what happens with the heart is that it starts literally or even your palace. I've been literally feeling that so strongly. Your palace, your queendom and kingdom palace inside, your own original codes. That is the one that is so pure, because it's the one that is the innocent, the pure one that has not been tainted. That's the one that is this pure source. Okay, the code's there. And what it's going to do is that it's going to trigger you to lock. So you lock yourself. And that's where the demons, right, the demonic aspects, start loving and enjoying, because you're locked yourself. You've put yourself down. You're blaming yourself. You're choosing everything but yourself. The love that you have for that. Gosh, what have you allowed in your external world that you have forgotten your own existence? And that starts creating walls around the heart. right? And then the facades come in, and the old patterns that have not been serving you, that are outdated, that are the ones which I really want to call the habits. Everything is habit. Everything is a program, a code that we have. But they're the ones that you think it's you, and you think it's this, your nature, which is quite fascinating. But actually, it's okay. It could be, and that's where we start, crumbling things. We start letting go very quickly, because like, you know what? Okay, maybe it was my nature. We're not going to debate that. But it's no longer serving. That habit feels outdated. Maybe it served its purpose, but now it's no longer serving. Now something, because I'm seeing it, that habit was the one that was running that block and that lock on my heart, that block and that lock on your own source blueprint energy, your own essence to be expressed. So there's all these walls around it, and the demonic forces fester there because they love it. So they're tackling that, where they get you to doubt yourself, and then you see the infiltration that's coming in, getting you to doubt. Everything becomes like a veil where things are not clear. You find yourself, you're looping in something that's like getting you further and further away from emitting your essence, from embodying your light, walking that heart song, your inner song, radiate the love that first and foremost gets initiated from here, from within, and then emits out into your entire body, into your entire field. But it starts here, it's not outside. So this is where the infiltration happens. And then the second dimension, the second angle, is outer relational. So from interrelational to the outer relation, the ones you have around you. And then you find yourself that you've been in relationships, or even people that just pop up, and let's call them the agent Smith of the Matrix, where it's not the person. That's where things get personal as well, where we get a bit lost, because it's like, but wait a second, that's somebody I love, that's somebody this. We're talking energy, right? So there's the agent Smith, the one that is coming into the other person. Maybe people you love are complete strangers that all of a sudden are triggering you, mocking you, laughing at you, or manipulatively getting you to shut your light, getting you to stay in their paradigm. And it's so tricky, because that is the true energy world. That is the true energy realm that bypasses and surpasses the mind, surpasses the physical aspect of who is that person. It doesn't matter the person's identity. We're talking energy. This is a true world of energy. And it's not easy, because it comes with a responsibility where it's like pulling you out of how the normal operation model comes in. All of a sudden, you're able to witness the mimicry. You're able to witness the false light with all this spiritual language, or just that manipulative facade, especially the spiritual language. And even in the spiritual realm, and I've said that before, great, if you used to channel or you have spirit guides, but now more than ever, it's important, rely on your own spirit, because there's so much distortion that the spiritual battle, the spiritual warfare is even more heightened, and they've expanded their tools, they've expanded their coding strategies, so they can literally show up as anything that you want them to show up and tell you what you want to hear. But this is all keeping you in that matrix. That's why the only thing that they cannot fool, they cannot mimic, is true source, is true spirit, great spirit and Holy Spirit. That's the only thing. Anything else, even spirit guides, beings of light, anything, they can show up as being of light. But also, some of you may notice that you have that power, because the thing is that it's a mastery. So you're gonna get there. The more that you ask for pure clarity of spirit, the eyes of spirit, then they will start revealing themselves for what they truly are. And you will able to see the mimicry of even the angelic codes that they pretend is actually artificial angelic energy, artificial, I don't know, spiritual guides they can show up as. But the energy, the core energy that's leading all of this is that of mimicry. Who laughs at God? Who laughs at someone's vulnerable process? At someone's opening their hearts? Who laughs at all of that? Right? But this is what is truly at the forefront of this mimicry. It's really fear. Fear of being seen. And it's frightening because those people are being like zombies, completely taken over by that Agent Smith, that entity, that trickster, and you just cannot get through them. And that's why I'm saying it's such an important, crucial time, because your role is to be that keeper of the gate. Through you. Like every time you say no to a distorted energy, every time you say yes to courage and to calling spirit more in your heart, to crack those walls, to purge literally everything that is not of the divine grid, to literally fight with all your soul, to be in the right, pure and raw, real path. Every time you do this, you're literally being in service to the divine grid. And that's what I'm saying, you are the Gridkeeper, because you are the one keeping, holding it together. And that is not easy. But you hold that wisdom, you hold those keys, you hold the tools to bring it out. And maybe even if you're listening to this, like now that's just coming through and you're like, maybe you don't know that you hold all of that. Maybe you don't know what your keys are, or the expression that you hold as the Gridkeeper. I was gonna laugh and say, that's why the Vision Quest is for you, because you can come and get that clarity and activate those, gifts. Or it could be that you know them, but you just feel like you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, not able to have that boom, that click, that's just like, okay, I'm doing it, I'm expressing myself. But really, it's because it's okay. But the more that you hold that intention, it all goes back to the power of intention. You hold that intention and you hold that prayer. It's not an easy journey to crack the heart open. It's not an easy journey to untangle and unweave from all the hooks that we've had to that distorted reality and that distorted field. It's not easy. It's literally not a joke. It's literally like a warrior. That's the force that it requires. And that's where a lot of people run in the opposite direction. But that's the force. That's why I said it's a crucial time, because we can no longer play in both worlds. We cannot. It's literally about boom, 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 moving forward, moving quickly. And with every step, just calling upon spirit, doing it, choosing it, over and over again. So believe. Know, right? Because now this whole thing, believe has lie in it. Okay, know that you are a warrior of God. Know it, claim it, own your role. It's a lonely role, it's an isolating role, yes, but it's a role. It's your role. And the faster you own it, the faster you claim it, you know, whether without the quest. It's literally like layers of owning it. So you might notice like, okay, I've owned it, but there's more layers. And now it's like the from like the optimal, ultimate, like how much are we gonna own it? And that's where I wanna close this with that prayer that is super, super strong, that has come to me from Spirit. And as I said, witness the magic in your life as you start claiming it. And the more that you say, you gotta claim it, like claim the words as you're saying it, rather than just, you know, it's like repetitive words. But feel into your heart, drop into your body, drop into your heart. Open up, open up, open up, open up. True God, source of all creation, I call upon you. Great Spirit, Holy Spirit, I call upon you. Divine Light, I call upon you. Higher Self, I call upon you. I devote my life, my body, my vessel, my health, my finances, my work, my home, my house, to you, and nothing else but to you. I connect my energy field to the divine grid and only the divine grid. Anything else that does not belong to you and does not belong to the divine grid is out of my body, out of my heart, out of my mind, out of my life, out of my reality. I only surrender and welcome in Spirit, great Holy Spirit, and nothing else. And this is where you can add in anything else you wish to add. Maybe something that you're needing specifically to mention in your life. Just call it in. Say that you devote it to Spirit. You devote it to true God, source of all creation. That it's plugged in to the divine grid and nothing else. That your heart, your mind, your body, your cells, all of those things and extensions. You could even pray for people, you know, with that. Maybe your family, your kids, whoever it is, that also they're devoted to that and they're plugged into the divine grid and only the divine grid. I literally just witnessed the shift happening. So I've been appreciating all of your support so far. Those of you that have been with me for a while, truly appreciate you. And if for those of you that are new to my channel, subscribe if you're feeling that you're benefiting from this. Share it with more people that you feel also will benefit from this. And let me know also in the comments below what you're resonating with, what your experience has been through these huge energy shifts. And again, I would absolutely love to see you in my next vision quest. But also, if you can't travel for any reason right now, you can also find me online. We can do some one-on-one work online as well. And I send you a big hug. Much, much love.